Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. She did it with a laugh loud enough to cut through the quartet. Silver heels, hair sprayed like a magazine cover, champagne glass raised. We're heading downtown, she told Tasha, and then, louder, for the room, real fun's not here. The bow on the violin actually scraped wrong. A couple of my clients turned their heads. I moved 2 steps and covered the doorway with my shoulder. This is your party, I told her, and this is our house. Tasha snorted. Don't be that controlling husband. I didn't argue. I nodded at the caterer to pour. Everyone enjoy the short ribs, I said to the room. Kitchen's open, bars stocked. Cassie will be unavailable. Cassie rolled her eyes, slipped past Tasha, and went anyway. I didn't chase. I topped off a neighbor's glass and asked the quartet for something upbeat. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have ordered a band just for the exit music. She was out the door, and the night had a new temperature. I made rounds. I thanked my aunt for the pecan pie. I talked shop with a developer I'd been courting for 6 months. Every so often someone asked, "Where's the birthday girl?" My answer stayed the same. She stepped out. The sentence wore a groove in my mouth. At 10, the quartet packed up, and the 100 guests were down to 20. I cleaned and smiled and said goodnight until the driveway looked like a dealership at closing time. When the last car taillights faded, I stacked empty glasses in a bin, checked that the grill was off, and sat on the back step. No speech. No angry text. I didn't go looking. At 7 the next morning, the garage door hummed. Cassie walked in with 2 coffees, soft sweatshirt, messy bun that probably took 20 minutes to arrange to look messy. Morning, she chirped. Morning. She set a cup near my elbow like it was a medal. Double vanilla, extra shot. Happy late night cleaning, hero. I slid it back an inch. Fun crowd downtown. Relax, Mark. It was my birthday. She smiled like a school nurse. You made it so nice. I needed a little freedom. You walked out of your own party and left me entertaining half the contractors in Denver. You love holding court. You turned it into a solo act. Her eyes narrowed. So we're doing punishment now? No. I took my own cup from the machine and killed the noise with the first sip. We're doing boundaries. Same thing with nicer words. Not for me. I set my phone on the island, pulled up my banking app, and started tapping. Joint cards are blocked. Family savings moved to the safe account. Use your own income for whatever downtown needs you've got. She straightened. That's ridiculous. It's math, and I'm done sponsoring Tasha's opinions. That was a joke. It was a label, I answered. And labels have budgets, just not mine. You're punishing me for having friends. I'm refusing to finance disrespect. Her mouth twitched. You sound like a brochure. You sounded like a host until you disappeared. She put both hands on the counter. So you're cutting me off. I'm cutting off a leak. And how long does this little regime last? As long as I need to know my wife won't use my house as a stage and me as the prop. She laughed once. You're overreacting. That's possible. So we'll stay on cash. It slows things down. Might help me calibrate. She tried a softer tone. I appreciate the party, Mark. I do. I needed to feel like me. It got big. It got formal. I wanted something spontaneous. You had 100 people here for you. It wasn't about me. She brushed a crumb into her palm and looked up. You made it about your business. That's what you saw? It's how it felt. I tapped the card image until it grayed out. Then we agree on one thing. Feelings aren't bills. I'll remember that the next time you need something. Good. We're both learning. She grabbed the coffee she'd brought and took a sip like it could swallow the conversation. So that's it. Cold War. No war. Clear rules. Use your income. We split household costs by the spreadsheet, like always. We're not teenagers. She stared at me like she expected me to blink. When I didn't, she made a calm face, kissed the air near my cheek, and walked upstairs humming. It was a melody I didn't know. That afternoon, my friend Leo called. He's the guy I met when my company poured the slab for his brewery. He speaks in headlines. Orchid Room. 9. I'm buying. What's the occasion? Your face at your own party was the occasion. He paused. And I got a rumor. I don't need rumors. You'll want this one. I'll see you at 9. The Orchid Room is one of those bars that got designed with a ruler and a dimmer switch. Dark wood, velvet, lighting low enough to hide separation, high enough to read the menu. Leo and I took a corner. He ordered something brown and expensive. I stuck to seltzer and lime. Information sits better that way. You heard from Cassie? He asked. She brought me coffee. That was sweet. It was a move. He smirked. This town's small, Mark. That sentence never ends well. He nodded toward the back. Don't turn now. I didn't. I waited until the server left, and then took a slow look like I was checking the light fixtures. 2 tables away, Cassie sat closer than close to Evan, husband of Tasha, shirt sleeves rolled up, watch face catching the lamp. Cassie laughed. He touched her wrist the way you touch a button you want to keep pressing. Leo watched my face. Say the word. No words. I lifted my glass to the table like I was toasting a stranger. Cassie saw me. Her smile froze. She said something quick to Evan, stood, and headed for the exit like the building was tilted. Leo kept his eyes on me. You good? I'm clear. You want me to? No. No conversations behind backs. No detectives. No speeches. Straight steps. Leo swallowed whatever he was about to say. What's the play? I'll adjust the access. And I won't step in to block the consequences when they arrive on their own. He nodded like we'd just agreed on a bid. On the way out, Evan caught my sleeve. Man. I turned. Don't. I'm not collecting explanations. It's not what it looked. It looked like you weren't bored. He blinked. I respect you. Respect is expensive. Good night, Evan. When I got home, the house was trimmed quiet. Cassie had left the hallway light on like a beacon. I turned it off. The next day, I moved my calendar. I shifted a client meeting to our backyard for Saturday and put the grill on the list. Good fences are cast iron. By Saturday, the sky was a billboard blue. Family, neighbors, some of my guys from the site. Vince brought his poker face and his wife brought potato salad that could win an election. We had fold-out tables lined with paper plates and the kind of chatter that feels like a blanket. Cassie wore a sundress and that airy smile people use at open houses. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. You need help? She asked, hovering by the grill. I'm good. She took that as permission to stay. She leaned in. Don't be weird. I'm hosting. Don't try to control what I do. You can do anything you can pay for. She flinched a little and stuck her smile back on. 10 minutes later, when everyone had a plate, she climbed 1 step up on the deck. I won't be late, she announced. I've got a date. Forks paused. Vince looked at me with a look that meant, are you going to let that stand? I kept the tongs in my hand, flipped a burger, and set the next bun. That's true, I said, louder than the music. Yesterday you were at the orchid room with Evan. The side gate clicked. Evan stepped into the yard like a man walking into someone else's movie. His eyes did a quick scan, landed on Tasha, then on me, then on Cassie. His throat worked. Tasha shot up from her chair. What is this? Evan lifted both hands. I've already spoken with an attorney. I'm leaving. You could hear the ice melt in the cooler. Tasha moved toward Cassie. You told me it was networking. Cassie's face cracked and scrambled. It was a conversation. With my husband? Tasha's voice carried to the fence. I raised a palm without raising my voice. Hey, save it for your porch. Tasha spun on me. She's your wife, not my supervisor. Cassie pointed at me like I had tripped her. You did this. I did nothing, I said. I just stopped covering. Silence puddled. I turned the grill off. Grab cupcakes on your way out, I told the crowd. We're done for today. Neighbors did what neighbors do when they see a building leaning. They move out of the way. Plates hit trash bags. Chairs folded. Vince squeezed my shoulder and steered his wife toward the car without commentary. In the kitchen, Cassie dragged a suitcase from the hall closet and started tossing in clothes like an ad for a moving company. I stood in the doorway so I wouldn't be in her way. Say something, she demanded. You already said it. You humiliated me. You opened with I've got a date. I closed with facts. That wasn't your secret to tell. We don't have secrets that protect other people's dignity at my expense. I'm not staying here. She zipped the suitcase like stitches. That tracks. Where am I supposed to go? That's a grown-up question. She stared at me, looking for the old script. I didn't hand her a line. You walked out of a party you asked for, I said. Then you walked out of respect. The house comes after. You act like this accountant. With punishments and ledgers. Boundaries and ledgers are cousins. She rolled the suitcase to the door, grabbed a tote bag, and turned. You'll regret this. Maybe. Pack the photo albums you want. I'm not storing your version of us. She left without slamming the door because slamming is a confession. The driveway swallowed her car. Monday, I called Vince. He handles our partnerships, and he doesn't drop balls. I need Cassie out of the marketing workstream, I told him. Understood. No drama. Severance that fits the scope. A clean letter from the firm. Can do. No press. No spin. I know how to write a quiet ending. Make it today. He exhaled. That fast. I'm preventing slippage. By evening, the envelope was on my kitchen counter. When Cassie came by to collect a box of shoes she'd decided were important, she saw it, tore it open, and read the letter like it had been written in a language she'd only learned in high school. You erased me, she said. I stopped providing. This is my work. It was my platform. I built the brand. My company isn't a brand. It's concrete and deadlines. She jabbed the letter with her finger. There's a check and a goodbye like I'm some temp. You asked for freedom. This is the grown-up package. Who signed off on this? Ask my partner. She laughed without humor. You're doing this to make me crawl back. No. I'm doing this so you don't stand in two doors at once. She switched tactics like a quarterback. She set the letter down, reached for my arm, softened her voice. Look, I was reckless at the party. I was embarrassed. I said the word date because it got a reaction. I didn't think about you, and that's on me. Let me fix the marketing. I'll be professional. I'll send weekly reports. I'll run every piece by Vince. I'll even do those early site visits you always push. I'll make your guys look like heroes. It's already fixed. I pointed at the letter. We closed that channel. So there's nothing I can do? You can build your own thing. That you control. That you pay for. Look at me, she said, hand still on my arm. I'm saying I'm sorry. I heard it. And we proceed. She blinked like the room had tilted. You're not even angry. Anger is expensive. I'm frugal this year. She pulled back like my shirt was hot. You're not who I married. Neither are you. That night, around 1, my doorbell went off like an alarm. I took 2 steps and saw Tasha through the glass pane, mascara in streaks, hair fighting gravity, hands full of fury. I opened the door because I don't hide. You need something? She stormed in like she had a deed. Evan emptied the account. He changed the locks. He won't answer. You did this. I didn't sign his checks. You planted that scene in my yard. I hosted a barbecue. Cassie made the announcement. Evan made his choice. She paced my kitchen and knocked a spoon off the counter. I need you to write down what you saw. Names. Times. The whole thing. He'll fold the second he sees it in a letter. I'm not building you a hammer. This is me drowning. You don't get my oxygen, I said. I'm not stretching moments to fit a narrative. You owe me. She poked my chest with a nail that had seen better days. I covered for Cassie when you were too busy playing CEO. You didn't cover for her. You coached her. She laughed, too loud. What? She's a puppet, and I'm the strings. Please. You pushed the freedom door like it was a fire exit and forgot there's a drop on the other side. She moved to the fridge, yanked it open, slammed it shut, pulled a mug off the rack, let it hit the floor. Ceramic hit tile. My patience didn't. Enough, I said. You don't get to enough me. She grabbed the bowl of lemons and winged it at the sink. 2 bounced. 1 split. I took out my phone and hit 3 buttons. I didn't raise my voice. You're leaving. With your car door intact. She swore at me in a string that could have knit a sweater, shoved a chair, and when the cruiser lights bounced on my windows, she tried for a new face. The officers were young and tired and very done with kitchen drama at 2 a.m. Ma'am, one of them said, let's take a walk. She made a mess, I told him. He looked around. We see it. I'm not filing. They took her. The door closed. I swept. It's calming, sweeping your own floor when the night has been loud. The next morning, Leo texted, you good? I sent back a photo of the lemon halves in the trash with the caption, housekeeping continues. By Thursday, my calendar said meeting, 15th floor. The conference room at the legal firm had glass walls and a view of the mountains. Funny how that doesn't change what's in front of you. Cassie came in with a lawyer I didn't know. He was smooth, hair in place, voice at therapist volume. My attorney put a stack of papers on the table and took out a single folder like a chef who knows the recipe. Cassie's attorney started with numbers. Our client is seeking monthly support given the years she contributed to the household image. A fair percentage of the company based on her role in growth. Temporary access to the second property for mental health. Continued status as a consultant. I opened the folder and slid a document forward. 11 years. Signed. Witnessed. Her attorney skimmed. Flipped. Flipped again. I watched his eyes do the math. The prenup had 3 sentences anyone could understand. Business assets separate. No support without dependency. No claim without children. He cleared his throat. This seems robust. It's clean, my attorney said. It held when it was reviewed last year for a separate matter. Cassie leaned in. You told me it was just a formality. It was a decision, I said. She looked from me to her lawyer. We can argue this. You can argue anything, I said. Math doesn't care. Her lawyer tapped the table. We could pursue other angles. Public perception, reputation, the value of her. Image is a mirror, not an asset. Cassie tried a new route. We can make this ugly, Mark. You don't want stories. I run a construction company. People hire me for a slab that doesn't crack. And the second property stays with the business trust. She pushed her chair back an inch. You're punishing me for wanting my own life. I'm letting you have it. Her lawyer nodded at mine in some silent language and closed his notebook. The document seems enforceable. The room emptied like someone opened a vent. The view got bigger. Cassie sat there a second too long, like she could stop the chair from moving under her. This is your line in the sand, she said. This is me taking the sand back. You think I'll fold. I think you'll do exactly what you want to do, the way you've been doing it, just not on my account. She stood, took her purse, and paused. You'll be alone. I'm particular. I stood too. Call Vince if you need a reference for future projects. He'll describe your skills accurately. She stared, waiting for the old version of me to appear with a plan or a compromise. I opened the door for her. Her heels clicked down the hall until the sound turned into building noise. That was the actual ending, not the scene with the backyard or the night at the orchid room. This was the moment where everything got stamped. After, I drove to the site. The crew was framing a second story on a midtown build. Hoses hissed. Nail guns popped. Vince came over, helmet low, eyes up. Clean, he asked. Clean enough. You want to grab lunch? In an hour. I looked at the beam they were lifting. I'm sticking around for this set. He nodded. Good call. At home, I changed the keypad code, canceled the cleaner for Tuesdays, and turned the guest room into a home gym because I like simple conversions that you can see with your eyes. 2 weeks later, my aunt sent a text asking if she should be neutral in the family chat. I told her to make the chat about recipes again and not about grown people. Around the same time, Cassie left a message I didn't return. Later, I heard from Leo that Evan had moved into a rental near the tech park. Tasha started making rounds telling anyone with an ear that she had been blindsided. People nodded politely and ordered another drink. Denver is a small town that pretends to be big. Mid-September, I took the truck out to Red Rocks before dawn and met my buddy Troy for a run. He's twice divorced and has the attitude to match. You look lighter, he said, jogging like a metronome. I lost a line item. Expensive one. Priceless. He laughed. You going to start dating? I'm going to start living. At work, I turned down 3 projects that wanted me to cut corners. I picked up one in Boulder that required patience, and I had a lot of that. My days got simple. Run, build, eat something that looked like food, sleep. I didn't read posts. I didn't check tags. I kept my number the same for the clients who pay on time. A month after the legal meeting, I ran into Cassie's cousin at a grocery store. She was in the cereal aisle, making choices that looked like childhood. How are you? She asked. Steady. She's figuring things out. Good. She didn't think you would actually enforce it. I didn't enforce anything. I honored a deal we both signed. She says you changed. I grew up. She nodded like that was either fair or boring. You were good to her. I was good to us. I reached for my brand of oatmeal because some loyalties don't need negotiating. Say hi to your mom. When I got home, I parked next to the truck I'd wanted since I was 25 and couldn't rationalize until now. I called it the yes truck. I'd said no to myself too long. The last thing I did was take the photo albums out of the hall closet and pick a dozen pictures that still told the truth. Holidays with my parents, the first house I poured, The fishing trip with Vince where he fell in, my nephew in a Halloween costume that made him look like a lopsided pumpkin. I put those on the shelf. The rest went in a bin in the garage labeled past, closed. A couple months later, I met someone. Her name is Nora, a project manager from a company that actually pays vendors on time. She has her own house and a calendar that doesn't need to borrow mine. We split checks because it's easier, and sometimes I pay because it's nice. She asks about bids and schedules, not image and status. When she says she's staying in, she stays in. Last week, we went to a small place with live jazz on Thursdays. I picked a table against the wall, the way I like it. The quartet was a step above the one at my house that night months ago. During a break, the cellist asked for requests. I asked for something bright. Nora laughed. "You like to rile up the room without opening your mouth," she said. "It's efficient." She leaned toward me with that easy look that doesn't have an angle. "You know what I like about you?" "What?" "You don't perform." "You do." "Performing is expensive," I told her. "I'm frugal this year." On the way out, I thought I saw Cassie across the room for a second. Maybe it was her, maybe not. A woman with the same shade of hair, the same careful posture. She was with two friends, half listening, eyes on the door. I didn't slow down to check. Maybe she's rebuilding. Maybe she's rebooting her circle. Maybe she's still testing doors to see which one's open for free. That's her math now. Mine is simple. I build a house, and then I build a life inside it that doesn't need applause to stand up straight. The last thing I said to Cassie was a sentence I liked for its accuracy. It was in that conference room with the mountains showing off and the table too shiny for men like me. "This isn't punishment," I told her, sliding the prenup across the glass. "It's a reset to zero." And when the papers were signed and filed and the door closed, I went downstairs, called Leo, and told him to meet me at the diner next to the yard supply place. He got there in 10 and asked the same question he always asks. "You good?" I stirred my coffee, added nothing, and answered the way I wanted my life to sound. "Yeah, I'm good. The rest is just follow through. Boundaries set. Work humming. Keys where I can find them." A woman who shows up when she says she will and leaves when she says she has to. A quieter home. A better truck. My crew laughing at lunch. Vince trying to cheat at cards and failing. Even the dog from the neighbor's yard likes me better now because I smell like steak 3 nights a week. I didn't win anything. I just stopped playing the wrong game. The cost was high. The receipts paid. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.